The development that I probably hate the most about the Trump era is the rise of a certain subset of Twitter media ghouls who became famous for a variety of very annoying reasons. You all know who I'm talking about. People like Eric Garland for that stupid thread on game theory in 2017. People like Daniel Dale at CNN who breathlessly tries to fact check whether Trump said Tuesday instead of Wednesday. But the people I hate most of all are those who literally do nothing else but clip cable news segments and then put them snarky commentary on it to make it go viral amongst blue checks. And the worst offender of this is a guy named Aaron Rupar. Unsurprisingly, he works at Fox. Pathetically, his job is literally to just watch Fox News all day and tweet out clips to outrage people. He's amassed a massive following. People certainly look to him to see what they should be pissed off about that happened on Fox the previous day. Thus, he's become a little bit of a left-fluencer, and he likes to pepper in his opinions. Well, Aaron has decided to become a Fox News shamer, one of those people who goes after anyone on the left for even deigning to go on the network regardless of the reason. And Aaron was just doing his job Wednesday when he noticed Congressman Khanna on Laura Ingraham's program. He didn't listen to what was being said. He apparently is so dumb that he can't even read a chyron. He just fired off this tweet, quote, "I'm not sure why any Democrat would validate Laura Ingraham's show by going on it for a friendly interview, but that's what Khanna just did." Oh, wow. Khanna, he must be a Nazi, right? He must be on there to validate a vast right-wing conspiracy. Yeah, go ahead and take a listen to the segment itself.
And what do you think about the potential DOD picks that have been floated in for a Biden administration? I mean, a lot of these folks doesn't look like they're going to be anxious to pull more troops out of Afghanistan. Certainly the generals don't seem to want to do that.
Well, I've expressed concern about Michelle Flournoy. Let's see what she says. But she was for an escalation in Afghanistan. She was for Iraq. She was for Syria. These policies have cost us trillions of dollars. China hasn't been in a war since 1979. We've been in 40 wars. If you view China as our biggest strategic competitor in the 21st century, then these policies aren't what's going to allow America to win and compete. So this is Matt Gaetz shares this view. There are people on the Armed Services Committee who shares this view. This is really not partisan. It's about making sure America leads the 21st century.
Wow. So Aaron Rupar is attacking Khanna for going on Fox for a friendly interview in which both the host and the guest agree that we should worry about keeping U.S. troops in Afghanistan and the bloated Pentagon budget. This is complete insanity of the modern American liberal, and it shows you just how much Trump has rotted their brains. If somebody with a platform with millions of people wants to have you on to discuss a mutually shared position of getting troops out, shouldn't you just take it? The obvious answer from sane people is yes. And yet, Aaron Rupar is the norm of the average left journalist in Washington. It's a direct result of the Trump era. And it leads to some hilarious situations in which you realize just how dumb these people really are. Now, look, you'll all recall the story of how Biden's pick for Secretary of State, Tony Blinken, left the Obama administration, set up an influence peddling firm with Michelle Flournoy, one of those Secretary of Defense contenders. Their firm worked to expand market access in China. It lobbied for Google defense contractors. It served as a major conduit for Obama national security officials who wanted to sell out to big business and make some money. So rightly so, friend of the show, David Dayen, he tweeted out that story a few days ago, to which Rupar responded, quote, "Blinken participated in society, the horror." Yeah, that's real. That's his defense. It's just rank partisanship. It's slavish bootlicking. And it reveals the profound immorality and viciousness of people in our media today, working to peddle influence with companies, to do business with slave labor in China, all good. Just participating in society, man. Going on a program with someone who doesn't agree with you completely to courageously advance a position against the very likes of people like Michelle Flournoy and Tony Blinken to actually try and get troops out of Afghanistan is supposedly some crime against humanity. I choose to highlight this example, despite the fact that I don't really care about left policies itself and in terms of their own policing, but because it's such a glaring example of what is wrong with our discourse and politics today. Blind and pure partisan outrage with a complete and utter disregard for the underlying policy. Khanna is one of the actually few people participating in society because he's going on a program to advocate for a popular position and among the electorate And maybe, just maybe, some viewer might come away thinking it's possible to work with the Democrats to get something done, in this particular case, to get troops out of Afghanistan. That is what participating in society looks like. You talk to people that you disagree with, you build political coalitions, you try to mainstream your consensus, then you try to put that consensus into practice by enacting policy. It's literally that simple. But unfortunately, more and more, it's rare. We try really hard on this show to expose to you all viewpoints of kinds and from literally all over the spectrum, so you can put yourself in the mind of the average American voter and make a mind up for yourself. And unfortunately, this dynamic underscores a theme that I want to convey to you, because it becomes so evident and apparent to me. That is the power of the culture war. The mere mention of Fox News is such anathema to the liberal because of what they've said and done in the past that it's impossible for any congressman to even go on the network, no matter what he's trying to say. The same is true on the other side. It's nearly impossible to go on a leftist show and try to do the same thing if you're on the right. When our spaces of political discourse themselves become part of the culture war, it precludes discussion, and it's a trend that I think was accelerated 20-fold as a result of the Trump era. Since he's probably going to run again in 2024, it means only it will continue for some time to come. If we're going to be a more sane society, we can't allow this type of stuff to happen. We can't allow the very places that we discuss ideas to become part of the problem. And I haven't yet figured out an antidote to any of this, I'm going to admit it to you. I find myself in its grips many times. I mean, I revolt in horror, something that I'll see the left do, and it gives you this flash of anger, enough to say, screw this, we got to declare war against these people, right? But that's not the reality of politics in America. And it's not how you get a better country, with a lot of people who just simply disagree with you. And I'll stand by this. The solution is not the BS gatekeeping that ghouls like Aaron Rupar are doing. It's actually talking to people you disagree with. That sometimes we might just get 1 or 2 or 5% of what we want, because then at least that's better than nothing. All right. Ryan has some new reporting on Georgia's Senate David Perdue's stock trades. It's going to impact that runoff there. We're going to discuss when Rising continues.